No, 100%. And that's exactly what President Trump can do, because this is the message that Republicans are going to take out to the midterms. The notes in which he echoes tonight will be exactly what you hear Republicans say on the stump. And you keep in mind, this is a president that's going to be out there. It's almost as if he was running for election. They're going to have him on the campaign trail. I'm expecting the president to deliver in a way in which the American people expect him to, presidentially, and tell them what's in it for them. What has he done over the course of a year? And I can tell you, he's accomplished a great deal cleaning up the mess of Joe Biden's presidency, but there's much more to be done.
Donald Trump is violating the law and Constitution. He is ignoring court orders. He has weaponized the Justice Department to go after his enemies. He is letting loose ICE troops in our streets that are getting people killed. I will not be attending the State of the Union. I've never missed one. I have always gone both to inaugurations and to States of the Union, but we cannot treat this as normal. This is not business as usual. I will not give him the audience he craves for the lies that he tells. I'll be outside the Capitol with Midas touch and move on for the people's State of the Union, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday.
Let's get back to Donald Trump's tariffs. Remember, it had been 10% globally, and following a Supreme Court decision that didn't go his way last week, is now upped it to 15%. Joining us live is our Washington analyst, Annalise Nielsen. So we're still trying to work out the whys of all of this, Annalise. Does it relate? Is it a sort of a get square to spite the Supreme Court, or is it that trade data that emerged last week that shows the tax take isn't really that much different as opposed to when things were before he raised the global tariffs? Are you any closer to finding that out?
Well, look, this is at the heart of Donald Trump's economic agenda. We know it's his favourite word. So the data will be matched to what his expectations are, is what I would say. And when we're looking at the tariffs, they have indeed brought in $175 billion US dollars. The question now is what happens to that money? How do people get it back if they do it all? And that's going to be the big fight. We know that this is Donald Trump's approach to legal fights, is to delay and make things as difficult as possible. So it's quite likely that's what's going to happen, not just to American companies who've been paying these tariffs, but also now other countries, potentially Australia. We're worse off now that we've got this 15% globally, but that expires in July under that particular act. And then, of course, there could be another lawsuit to say that he doesn't have the power to do that either. This has really changed the game entirely, because this is the first time we've seen a check on his executive power. He's found different ways to expand his power and reach. His influence has been really unchallenged since he came back for this unprecedented non-consecutive second term. And he had so much goodwill coming back, and there was just so much of kind of a stunned reaction in Washington, D.C. that people haven't been pushing back. This is the first time that there's been a major check on his powers. And it's going to be difficult. There's going to be more lawsuits, more lawyers getting their billable hours up. But the question is, will he just keep going through these different options? He's got several where he can try and levy these tariffs in different ways. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. When he turns around in a matter of 24 hours and puts it up to the maximum of 15, that was his last opportunity on that particular piece of legislation. I think that would indicate he's got a lot more options up his sleeve and he's willing to use them.
So what does it mean for allies like us, Annalise? I mean, I know that Senator Don Farrell, the Trade Minister, he was already going to the US this week as a matter of coincidence. He was there for the G'day USA galas. Now, obviously, he's got extra reason to be in DC. Our beef exports, I mean, they've only climbed since these extra tariffs had been put in place. I mean, but is there anything Senator Farrell can do to change this? Would we be seeking more carve-outs? Are you any closer to working that out?
Well, it's more strategy than just a simple application of law. And so the question is, okay, you have the legal right, perhaps, to sue for this. Do you stick your head above the parapet, or do you let people that have much more skin in the game, like the European Union, the British, who felt like they were bullied into concessions on a law that turned out to be unconstitutional, to then take that fight up and become the ones that poke the bear and get the pushback? And I think that would be the Australian strategy. They'd say, look, in the scheme of things, we haven't done that badly. We've got bigger fish to fry. The fact that we've got a new ambassador who's so specifically focused on getting AUKUS moving, continuing to move, that I think would be the focus of Australia. And I don't think there's any desire to stick our heads above the parapet on this and become the outliers that find it worse off. And so there is that argument. Of course, for everyone who did these trade deals and saying, oh, I got bullied into it because these tariffs were unconstitutional, we all knew this was a distinct possibility going into it. And so they could have negotiated differently as well, is the flip side of that.